What is up, guys? Drew Pien here with the whole 9 yards on the Clips channel. Just wanted to give a quick recap of the Patriots Colts game. It just ended. The Patriots just lost. The score was 27-17, I believe. The game was really frustrating as a Patriots fan. I was getting heated throughout the whole game multiple times. Quick couple things before I get into it. If you want to check out the main channel, link will be in the description. Social medias, everything, link in the description. But I'm just going to get into it. So there's a few things in this game I want to talk about, but the first thing really is the commentators. It starts, as the viewer, as the consumer of this product, it starts with the people that are talking to me and talking to the people, around me and all that. Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen, mainly Greg Olsen, specifically Greg Olsen. I really want to talk about. He is awful. Get him off. I'm done with it. It was awful to listen to. He didn't really give much great intake. He had a couple nice breakdowns. He had a good breakdown of a Darius Leonard interception. He had a couple other okay breakdowns, but nothing that your average commentator wouldn't typically give. So he's average as far as like X's and O's, and just as far as like common sense. Is he entertaining? He didn't have any of that. And there was specifically late in the game, they were talking about the decision for Belichick to kick the field goal on 4th and goal, like about the 5-yard line, 8-yard line or whatever, or go for the touchdown to get it down to one possession game. And I, in hindsight, for sure the decision was wrong to kick the field goal. You should have, and if you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. I'm assuming you watch the game if you're watching this. If not, the Patriots were down by 13. It was 4th and goal on the about 8-yard line-ish. They had just had a false start. And we decided to kick a field goal instead of go for the touchdown. The field goal brought it down from a 13-point deficit to a 10-point deficit, and the touchdown obviously would have brought it down to one possession game. In hindsight, it was 100% worth it to just go for the touchdown. But I disagreed with that at the time, and I still think it was the wrong call. I think hopefully Belichick looks back and says it was the wrong call, and he knows it's the wrong call. I hope. But I guess Kevin Burkhardt was like, well, we look back at that decision, and I was definitely confused. Greg, what was your input? And he goes, well, Kevin, it actually brought the game down to 2 possessions, and so you kick that field goal, you kick it off back to them. I think that was the pooch kick that they had. No, that wasn't the pooch kick. No, that was the pooch kick. Okay, so yeah, they brought it down to 2 possessions, and it was just a really dumb comment because obviously 13 points, by the way. I know Greg Olsen's like a multi-time Pro Bowler, I want to say, stand-up guy, but it was really just, listen, I know when he watches the film of his thing, because that's what people do, commentators. You would watch the film of your performance. Essentially that was his game, right? So he's gonna watch back and he's gonna know he was stupid, but it was really just making me upset. It was really, and I don't know what, maybe it was just the Patriots were playing poorly and I was getting annoyed, but it really annoyed me that he really thought that kicking that field goal brought the 13-point deficit down to the 10-point. That's not bringing it from 3 possessions down to 2 possessions. That's still 2-possession game. Any other commentator, anybody, your 11-year-old kid who's watching the game knows that. To me, it was so frustrating. I know it was kind of small, but to me, to be on that stage, to get that opportunity and to say something like that, listen, put him in the 1 o'clock window. If you think he has potential, he's a stand-up guy. He seems like he could be good for the booth one day, but right now I would keep him in the 1 o'clocks. He should not. I know this wasn't your A team, but still, like, listen, I don't want him in prime time. Get him off. Get him on the Sunday 1 o'clock Jaguars Titans game or Jaguars Texans game. If you want to develop him and turn him into your next, maybe he's your next A team guy. I don't know, but no more prime time for Olsen. Burkhardt, he's average. I don't know. I would keep him in 1 o'clock too. If you want to start the chemistry between Burkhardt and Olsen, keep him in the 1 o'clocks. I don't want them on Saturday night. So yeah, I thought that was awful. But that's not even talking about the game. But that was awful. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the refs were not good this game. I don't think it necessarily favored one side or the other. If I had to make an argument, typically, and this is how it goes, is if the refs play bad or if the refs are bad, typically it favors the winning team. And I think that's probably the case here, but I don't think it necessarily favored one team or the other. I just think the refs were flat out just not good. Judon was probably held multiple times. It pretty much, I saw a tweet on Twitter. It was like, to get a holding call called on Judon or for Judon, he pretty much has to have his helmet ripped off. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Game was over anyways. This was the most egregious. This was okay. So I should have been taking notes this game, or I should have just, I should be taking notes in these games to kind of remember everything. I didn't this game. I kind of just, I wanted to take more notes and stuff and just kind of look back and maybe skim over the game before I started this episode. But I ended up I was like, you know what, I'm just going to record this. Like I'm kind of fired up now. I don't want to lose that. So, but this was the worst, maybe not the worst, probably the worst call. And it was the one of the latest. It was before when the game was over. The game was over. So it was, game over, whatever. Patriots trying to make it a game again somehow after that Taylor 69-yard touchdown run to end the game. And Mac Jones throws it down the middle to N'Keal Harry, and Andrew Sendejo, I believe that's his name, Sendejo for sure. He was hitting hard the whole game, and I like hard hitting. Obviously, I think everybody likes hard hitting in football. That's what initially brought people to the game. I'm not sure if that's what still brings people to the game, but that's what brought people to the game at first for sure, I think. And he hits N'Keal Harry hard on that, and they end up both going down. They both for sure concussions. It looks like I want to say at least Sendejo was probably unconscious. I don't know if Harry was, but he was clearly concussed. They both, I hope they get well, obviously. But as far as the refs are concerned, listen, okay, so it was a PI because the hit was before the ball even got to Harry. So that's the first call is PI to me. The second call is let's just say he had caught it. Like, let's say the ball was like a half a second earlier and he had caught it. To me, that's still a hit on a defenseless receiver, right? Because he's defenseless, right? So that's right. And then third, that's helmet to helmet. I mean, listen, I know that refs can miss helmet to helmet calls, and it's easy to, especially if it's kind of like a ticky tack. Like clearly, neither of them are hurt. Neither of them. It was not a big deal, just a hard hit. And technically, if by the rule book, that's technically helmet to helmet. If you miss that, sure, but. And even to miss the hit that happened, if you didn't see the hit, I can't help you there really, but watch the highlights. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. Check out N'Keal Harry injury on YouTube, maybe Andrew Sendejo and N'Keal Harry hit, something like that. If I can find something, I'll put in the link in the description. But if not, well then maybe try after because maybe it's the game just ended. So, but even if you're a ref and you miss that call, half a second later when you see Sendejo and Harry on the ground, clearly out of it, clearly concussed. Why are you not throwing a flag? Like, I understand you missed the call, but there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's helmet to helmet. That's clearly a penalty on the defense. I know the game was over, but I was just getting annoyed because the refs were just bad this game. And I'm not making excuses for the Patriots. I'm going to get into the Patriots and the Colts here in a second, but yeah, to me the refs were annoyed. And these, the Burkhardt and Olsen comments and the refs comments are more of me as an NFL fan, I guess, rather than a Patriots fan. Or, yeah, but anyways, let's get into the Patriots. The first thing you have to say is they just got flat out outcoached. The late field goal call was awful in my opinion. I didn't like it from the beginning. In hindsight, it was clearly bad. You should have gone for the touchdown there. Maybe it's a 50-50. Maybe it's not even, maybe it's a 30% chance you make that touchdown. Well, that's the chance. Had we got that touchdown, this game may be going into overtime. This game, maybe we're winning this game. But the field goal didn't help us at all. I mean, it really didn't. I thought it was a bad call. I didn't understand it from the beginning. I thought maybe Belichick's just smarter than me, and they're going to win this game, and the Colts are going to prove me right because Wentz is going to make a mistake, or we're going to get a stop. But we didn't really get a stop until it was too late. So unfortunate. But, that's just one bad call. We can nitpick it if we want, but really where we lost the game coaching-wise and in general was special teams. I can't even list all the special teams mistakes at this point. One, we had so many penalties. Two, special teams. We had the offsides on the field goal, 47-yard field goal, I want to say, that was brought down to like a 42 or 41-yard field goal because what's their kicker's name? It used to be Blankenship. Michael Badgley. Badgley ends up missing like a 47-yarder, but we go offside, so that's an extra 3 points he got. That we would have had good field position because if you miss a 47-yarder, I mean we're getting the ball at about our own 47, right? So that's pretty good for us. That's really awesome starting field position. We have the offsides. They end up getting the 3 points and being able to kick the ball off. So instead of getting the ball at midfield, obviously they missed the field goal. They get the 3 points, and we have to start at like around 25-ish. I don't know exactly where we ended up starting, but that's 25 yards and 3 points. That's a huge swing, especially in a low scoring kind of gritty game like this. That's a huge swing. Obviously the big mistake was the blocked punt. I missed the blocked punt. I had gone on my phone for a quick second. I looked back up and there's a blocked punt, and they didn't really show a good replay angle, and I haven't looked at it since, so I don't know what specific Patriots fault it is. I don't know if it was just multiple Patriots, a single Patriot, or what, but I mean, it's a punt. This is not rocket science. This is not an offensive play has a lot of variables. This isn't a defensive coverage that has a lot of variables. There's no option routes. There's no timing routes. There's no RPOs. There's no options. It's just a punt. You just have to punt the ball. And somehow we fail that, and they obviously block the punt, and they get a touchdown off of that. So that's a huge swing, down 14-0. Obviously, we're down 20-0. I think if you simulate this game 10 times, I think we end up winning 7, maybe more, maybe 6, maybe 6. But I think we're winning at least 6 of these games if we're simulating it 10 times, even in Indianapolis. I think we had a bunch of bad special teams mistakes, a bunch of penalties in general, offsides, false starts. The offensive pass interference on Hunter Henry was, I know you're just trying to get something going, but even OPIs, like it's just if it's a blatant OPI, like you're gonna get called for that. Like I don't see the point. You're not gonna get away with what Hunter Henry got away with. I know it was an offsetting penalty because of the illegal hands to the face on 26 on Indianapolis, but still, I mean, we would have taken the 5 yards automatic first, that's automatic first, right? Why am I forgetting this? Maybe it's not. I don't remember exactly, but we would have taken the penalty. So, yeah, just a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad coaching. Off a bye week, is it rustiness? Is it, what do you want to blame it on? I think we've for sure seen teams be rusty off a bye week. I don't know if I want to call it rust. I think it's more just we got outcoached. Frank Reich was the better coach. It's the exact same thing that happened in the Philly Super Bowl. Obviously he wasn't the head coach, but he was the brains behind that offense. He outcoached Bill Belichick's defense. That's just how it was. And today I think he outcoached Bill Belichick in general on all sides of the football pretty much. Maybe not defense, but defense for sure in the first 3 quarters, I think you could say. Maybe even fourth quarter. I mean, they won the game. So Reich was the better coach. Special teams was atrocious. A lot of bad penalties. Not a good game from Belichick. I wish I could give you more insight on what specific Patriots and Colts played well and played bad, but I need to watch the game again. I need to watch some highlights. The game just ended. I don't think I can get too much, into that, but yeah, and the last thing I wanted to touch on, and this is the last thing I'm pretty sure, but was Jonathan Taylor really that impressive? So the Colts obviously won this game. I don't even know why I said that, but I'm saying that the Colts won this game. Jonathan Taylor's stat line, let me just pull it up real quick. He had 29 carries for 170 yards, 5.9 yards a carry and a touchdown. So obviously he had the game-breaking 69-yard touchdown rush to end the game. But I mean, he made one guy miss. He made a 30. How old is Hightower? Dante Hightower age. Dante Hightower is 31 years. He made a 31-year-old clearly out of his prime, washed up linebacker. You made a move, and good for you. He's a good running back for sure. He's a great running back, but is he an MVP? No, he's not even the best running back in the league. I mean, Henry, obviously he's hurt, but I find it hard to give an MVP to a guy, especially if it's not a quarterback, to a guy that's not even the best player at his position. I mean, listen, I know Henry's hurt, so you can't give Henry the MVP, but I don't think you can give Taylor this MVP, at least not right now. If they were to win out and maybe get the 1 seed or the 2 seed or something crazy, and in every one of these games, Wentz is throwing 12 passes, or Wentz is clearly not trusted, and this game Wentz was, listen, if you had any sort of viable passing threat, and I know the Patriots' pass defense is really good, but if you had any trust in Wentz to just play a mistake-free game and be a good game manager, then you would have won this game for sure. you would have won this game by more than what you won by, and it would not have been close the whole game, in my opinion, because you essentially, with 8 people in the box, decided to just, slam it with Jonathan Taylor, and really not much run many play actions or interesting pass plays. A few jet sweeps, a few interesting kind of reverses and stuff here and there, which I think is that Frank Reich touch. That's what you just get with Frank Reich off a bye, or going into a Super Bowl. You just kind of get some of that offensive creativity, and I think that's really good. And I think Frank Reich clearly proved tonight that he's a top 10. I don't know, but he's a top coach. To me, the Colts clearly made the right move by hiring Reich over McDaniels. I'm not saying I hate McDaniels, but I mean, we've seen McDaniels be the head coach of one team so far, and it was a disaster compared to Frank Reich's tenure so far in Indy. But I think that's kind of pretty much it. I know this is kind of a short episode, I guess, but I just kind of wanted to get some thoughts out after the Colts game. So yeah, we'll be back, or I'll be back probably Tuesday on the main channel. If you want to check out any Brandon stuff on this channel, he uploaded an F1 episode. If you know what F1 is, he is also doing the Cowboys recaps every week and all that type of stuff. So stay tuned on this channel for more content, all that good stuff. Appreciate everybody who watched the end of this video. I'll be back Tuesday. Goodbye.